Right. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to this unscheduled live stream. I was planning on doing something a little bit different. I was going to be uploading a video on this subject about what the Iranian Navy currently has at this moment in time, considering things are heating up in the Middle East. Just to give people an idea of, what the naval assets are from Iran. First screw up of the night. So, my plan of action was do one of those tier list thingamajigs that loads of people do, and go from there. Who knows? Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I mean, all we can do is try. So, just checking to make sure that everything is good to go and ready to start. Yeah. Just make sure all is good in the hood. Nice to see that Discord does not understand what I'm actually doing. Let's just share it on there. Like so. And we'll get started. Bingo, right. Okay, let's begin. Hey guys! So, shall we get started with this tier list? So, plan of action is we're going to start off with some frigates. The Iranians are known for their frigates, but also their submarines. So, what better to do than go for the frigates first? So, let us have a little look. So we've got, at the moment in time, what was it, 3, 6, 7 frigates overall? So, 7 frigates, which is good. And we shall start with the Alvand. And if I can just bring her over. Nope. Teething problems, come on. There it is. Okay, so yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of those things because the Iranians are not very. They have some really good ships, don't get me wrong, but they're old. They are really, really old. So, Alvan was built in the 70s. She's British built, British design. But she is very, very old. So, at this moment in time, because of her age, because of the weaponry she carries, and if Operation Praying Mantis 2 goes down, if it does happen, what we saw with Praying Mantis 1 back in the 80s is these ships are not well designed or well suited to take on modern day aircraft, as we saw with the Sahand, because the Sahand was blown to smithereens. Now, that being said, the Alvans aren't the worst thing the Iranians have. Okay, so Alvan's going in B tier, maybe somewhere around A tier. She's a highly capable ship. Don't get me wrong, but no, this could be. They just don't have any anti-air protection, and if they do, it's really, really, really short range. Which now leads me on to hull number 2, the Elbruz, or Elbruz. She, like her sister ship, is an Alvan class. She's about 50 years old at this point, maybe approaching 60. 70s, was it 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s, 20s. So yeah, 50 years old. Somehow they're still going, and they could make 40 odd knots back in the day. I don't think they can make 40 knots these days. But the interesting thing is she has been upgraded quite significantly. So she now has a AK-630 close-in weapon system actually on her aft, in a super firing position aft by here. So they're not too bad, which gives her a little bit of an edge over her sister ships like Alvand and the Suliban, which nicely actually brings us over to the Suliban. That is not what we're meant to be doing. Go away. Later. Suliban is exactly the same as Alvand. She is old, slow, and unfortunately, she just hasn't got it anymore. So she's going in B tier. So that's the Alvand class completely done. Obviously, Sahand was one of the Alvands, but she was sunk in Praying Mantis. So there's that. Okay. Is everyone happy with where those go? In terms of radars, they're pretty much exactly the same. They're using pretty much 1970s/80s radars. They've got new anti-shipping missiles in the form of NOR, which is Charlie 802, which is a Chinese surface-to-surface subsonic anti-shipping missile. So they're all right against a surface ship, but when it comes to long-range attacks from, say, for instance, aircraft, they are not great. And if they start having harpoons fired at them, or NSMs, or JASMs, or whatever, they're not really going to be able to defend themselves that well. Like I said, Albros would be the better option. Okay? So, let's go on to the... How far are we in at the moment? 8 minutes. Okay. So let's go talk about the ugly stepchild of the Alvand class, and that is the Jamarans, or the Mauj, or the Mooj class. Depends which way you look at them. Depends what you want to call them. But first things first, we're going to have the Jamaran. Now, Jamaran is essentially an Alvand, just more modern. She's got 76mm gun up forward, which is a little bit different to the 4.5-inch naval gun that the Alvands have. It has a higher rate of fire. It's more designed around taking down aircraft, and it has got weapon systems on board and radars that are more designed to allow her to counter aircraft as such. It's not foolproof, but she is a little bit better. She's more along the lines of Albros. So she's going in the A/B tier, just because she has a little bit better weapon systems than a normal Alvand. She also has a flight deck. She doesn't have a 35mm gun on down aft, but it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, that's where she's going. Now, shall we go for the Dina? So Dina is technically the third of the class of the Jamarans. And what you notice with half of these ships is they kind of... Well, the design slowly changes between each ship. So, for example, when you look at the Jamaran and the Dina, they look very much like an Alvand class. They have the waist walkways, they have that raised superstructure forward, they have the same funnel arrangements, and the bridges look pretty much identical, if not slightly different. So you can kind of see that where they've come from. Now, I'm going to put Dina slightly ahead of Jamaran because she is a bit of a better ship. I'm just going to move these down slightly. So, as you notice, she's got better radars than a Jamaran. So, Jamaran has pretty much got the same sensor loadout as an Alvand, essentially. So, yeah, she's going a little bit higher up, which is okay. Now, here we go. This is going to be the interesting one, because we're going to have Sahand. Sahand number 2. Now, if she didn't do the floppy flop flop last year, I think she'd be higher up. But she does have a bit of a top weight issue, especially when they start putting the missiles down forward. She has the capability to be a really good anti-shipping platform, but she is very, very much top heavy. So, in that sense, she's going B tier because the top weight issues. She's good in terms of long range strike. She can take surface to air missiles, but she's got a bit of a design flaw, and that is because she's basically based off these, and that's a 70s design in the 21st century, in the 2010s when they're built. So, unfortunately, she's going there. Now, let's talk about the Delaman, which now I don't know what to make of this thing, because I've really itchy nose tonight. Sorry, apologies. It's like they've gone for the Sahand, and they've gone, let's make it taller, which is basically what they've done. Now, I have no idea what that mast cap is on that ship. It's probably an ASA radar system, but it's just ugly. It's like they've looked at the not Norwegians, the Dutch frigates, so the same as the Evertson and that type of stuff, and took the radars that went off that, stuck them on an Alvand, and went, that'll do. It's a bit ugly. But that being said, she is more stealthy than her predecessors. Like Sahand, they've removed the waist walkway. They've made a lower RCS. Hello, Gosman. I'm comparing them against each other, and in comparison to how they would fare in a, say for instance, if Praying Mantis 2 happened, I'm comparing them against what would probably happen to them. But also, well, it's a very good question. I'm comparing them against modern ships, but also Praying Mantis 2, if that was going to occur. Because unfortunately, Iran, as much as they wanted to rebuild their navy, they want to go for a blue water navy. They have the unable position where they are kind of stuck in the old-fashioned ways of the 1980s, where they're trying to build these ships, revolutionise the navy, but they're using 70s designs, and they've still got ships that have come from like the 70s. Actually, to be fair, they've even got ships from the 60s. So, does that really make sense? Just trying to point out their pros and cons and how good they are. Like, which ship's the best one in the Navy? Yeah, well, that's basically it, to be honest. Right, so what was I talking about? Let's talk about the That one. They've done an interesting thing where they've actually trunk the two funnels onto the side of the ship. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they have the same issues as the Russian Navy. However, the Russian Navy has started developing ships that are better and go for more modular ships, which, when you listen to the Baikov documentary I'm making, you will understand. But whereas the Russians can do it on a larger scale, relatively speaking, the Iranians can't. They go for ships that are very much a case of, we can't do anything better. We're designing ships in the 1970s in the modern day. Hence, Alvan, Jamaran, that type of thing. So, going back to this, all these ships don't have a helo capability in terms of a hangar. The Jamarans have a hangar. They have a flight deck. They don't have a hangar, which limits them in their forward operating capability as long as they go with a ship that can take a helicopter and can board it. So put it in a hangar and off it goes, which in terms of the Iranian Navy is very small amount of ships. They could do it with a Karg. Back in the day, they can put Sea Kings on board that and Bob's your uncle, they're fine, because the Karg could take a few. Whereas there's a lot of ships now that can't really take that. The only thing I can think of is the expeditionary support base they have, which is basically just a converted merchant ship. And then they've got the drone carrier that they converted from a container ship, which can take aircraft. So, yeah. It's an interesting subject, shall we say. Which is ironically what the Russians do better than the Iranians. Because they're more about power projection in the Persian Gulf, whereas the Russians are more designed around power projection again across the Baltic to the Atlantic Ocean and across the Pacific Ocean and sometimes into the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. So, yeah. These ships, well, the Iranians are more of a brown water navy type of thing. So, go back to that one. She's probably the better one of the lot. She hasn't flopped over and sank yet. So, I'm going to put her up in B tier. She's good, but she's not great. Okay? So, that is all 7 frigates at the moment. They have 1 under construction, which, out of these 4, who knows? Who knows what it's going to look like? It's probably not going to look like these 2. It might look like that one. It might look like that one. But, yeah, we'll go for that. There is also the red-headed stepchild of this class, which I haven't actually got an image of yet, but I might as well do it now because she's technically a frigate hull. And that is the Zagros, which, if I just get you a better photo. Oh, and this one can actually take a helicopter. Surprising. It's almost like it's designed to operate far away from places. Who would have thought? Okay, so... Oh, Jesus, that's big. So there we are. So that is the Zagros. She is an intelligence collection vessel, or an AGI. Now... where do we start? She has the advantage over all these ships that she can actually embark a helo and store it on board. So she can take a Huey helicopter, which is a plus. That means she's, better than a normal Iranian frigate and an Iranian warship, because she can actually do it. There we are. In terms of what spicy little things she has on board. She doesn't appear to be armed at all. Her primary role is electronic warfare, so ELINT collection, SIGINT collection, and I'm going to hazard a guess they might have talked to the Russians on this one, because the Russians do tend to be very good in this world of espionage, so I'm going to say she's a solid A tier, maybe encroaching on S tier. Look at that. It's a very good upwards trending curve, isn't it? Except for Sahand, but we don't talk about Sahand. Yeah. Turns out, if you do the roly-poly, you're not good. You've got the other one, the 7th frigate that... sorry. Yeah, it would be hull number 6 or 7 that capsized in Bandar Abbas in a dry dock in 2021, which was interesting, to say the least. So, that's all the frigates. Do we all agree with this? I'll wait for the chat to update while I get the submarines ready. Yeah, let's go for the patrol boats next as well. Cool. Right. Well, no one's saying anything against it, so I'm going to hazard a guess. Everyone agrees with what I just said. Cool. Alrighty then, let's play with some subs. So, let's go. So the next one we're going to do is, do we go right from left or left or right? Let's go for this one. So, this is a midget sub called the Nahang. Now, I don't know much about the Nahang, I will admit, but just make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. She's part of the Southern Naval Force, so that's the one that goes into the Persian Gulf. Pretty much every single one of these ships is part of the Southern Naval Force, bar one of the Iranian frigates of the Submarine class, which off the top of my head I can't remember. Let me just have a check. It should be... oh yeah, the one that was the Northern... no, it's the Dalian. That one's the Northern Fleet. All the rest of these are Southern Fleet. So, that... I don't know much about it. I know the Iranians do like to go heavy into their submarines and their midget subs as like a way of stopping trade and, you know, screwing things up for people. Now, judging by the fact that they've only got one vessel and we don't know much about these ships, I'm going to put it provisionally at B tier in terms of how good she is in comparison to the rest of the fleet. That's where I'm putting it. If anyone else knows much more about it, I'm impartial to move it up or down, depending on how bad she is. So, yeah. Right. Let's play with the little green monster that is the Garda class. Oh yes, everyone's favourite little midget submarine that they like to paint green, which is also the same as the Yono class from North Korea. So, these things are quite effective. They are small, they are annoying, and I'm going to put them in the A tier, just because they're not bad submarines for what they're designed to do. So yeah, I'm just leaving it as that. Right. The Feta. Single boat of her class. Very strange boat. Kind of. Those are designed to blend into the watercolour. So the water's a bit more, basically like that. So when that's travelling underneath the water, it makes it harder to see it. That's the idea. Whereas if you got that, that sea, you can kind of see it because it stands out more. Right, Feta. There's only one of these vessels in commission. I'm going to put her as B tier, but I can be pushed to go a little higher if needs be. She's got 4 torpedo tubes facing forward. She's a coastal submarine, so she hasn't got the greatest legs. But she's better than a Garda or Garda class. Right, and finally we're going to do the kilos. Now, these aren't Project 636.3 improved kilo class submarines, or 636s is what the Algerians get. These are the originals, and they are getting old. Now, considering that 2 of them are currently in dry dock in long time refit, the Kilo Force isn't fully operational. So I would personally put the Kilos S tier if all 3 were operational, because they are a very good asset for Iran. The only issue is there's not many of them, and not really many of them are operational, so at the moment I'm going to put them by here. So, sorry Iran, should have bought some more Kilos. So that's the subsurface fleet and the surface fleet main arms now done. It's time to go talk about Corvettes. Now, the Iranians have 3 Corvettes, technically speaking. So they've got 2 classes. One of them is from the 1960s. The other one is a converted yacht from the 30s. Yeah. It's so... When I say that their fleet is outdated, I genuinely mean it is outdated. In terms of designs, in terms of ships they have, and just, it's just, what are you doing? You're rocking around with a yacht from the 1930s, but we'll touch on that in a second. So, let's talk about the 2 Bayador class Corvettes. Now, here's Bayador. She's going straight into C tier. You'd be surprised. So, the Bayador was built in the 60s. She is 20 years younger than my grandparents. So, put this into consideration. She is 62 years old. Let that sink in. She's 62 years old. She's got a 76 up forward, a 20mm Orlokin, and 4 surface-to-surface missiles slapped to the back end. She's also using radars from the era. Crazy, isn't it? The fact that they haven't changed in 60 years is ridiculous. It's like, how to put it? It's like having a Blackwood class frigate still in commission with the Royal Navy right now. Except for, well, that's kind of a bit more... She's a better ship in terms of the surface-to-surface action, but in terms of subsurface action, not good, comrade. Not good at all. So, yeah. Now, the impressive thing is, that thing is still working. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. It's probably because she's 1960s vintage and it's not all electrical. It's probably all still analog. So, Now, going from her, we're going to go talk about her sister, which is the Nagdi, I want to say. Apologies to any Iranians watching this video. I'm really bad at pronouncing some of your ships, so apologies. Now, this ship is currently in a dry dock in Bandar Abbas. And I'm pretty sure she's been there for a while. So she's going in the C/D pile for now. Actually, to be fair, I think I might just put her down here. The Sahand maybe C tier, because yeah, she did the floppity flop flop. Should have also got the other one, the Dravand. Just stick her in D tier. She's ran aground and stabbed in too. Build quality. It's great, isn't it? So yeah, that's going there. Now, let's talk about the 1930s yacht. Here she is. Now, you know the saying, show me on the doll where they touched you? That's what I want to say to this yacht. Because she was built in the Netherlands in the 30s. She's a beautiful vessel. And then they've stuck a gun on the front and stuck some missiles down aft. And, well, she doesn't look great. Now, her only saving grace is she's part of the Northern Fleet. So she only operates in the Caspian Sea. So, that being said, I'm going to put her higher up. Because it's not likely she's going to actually encounter any proper warships. The biggest thing she's probably going to come across is a... what they called? What's the... what they called? It's not the Kony class, it's the successor class to it from the Russians. The Dagestan and the Tajikistan? Yeah. Those ones. They're not... I mean, those two would have that thing for breakfast. But, considering Russia and Iran are currently still friends, she hasn't got anything to really worry about, so B tier she goes. Okay. So, that's the Corvettes. Let's talk about fast attack craft. Because this is fun. This is one of the major wings of the Iranian Navy. Because they are designed to use fast attack craft to lob missiles at surface ships and carrier groups in the Persian Gulf. And they're not bad. They didn't really do well in Operation Praying Mantis back in 86. Was it 88? Whenever Praying Mantis was, they didn't really do that greatly because the Joshan got what's the word? She was sunk by US forces, and she didn't get any of her missiles off. So, in terms of units themselves, the Kamen class, which is a Le Combattante 2, were built in the 80s, so they aren't bad. Got a 76mm gun up forward, they got harpoons, preferably mainly 4. These have been replaced by Charlie 802, or Nor, in Iranian service. So I'm going to put these at A tier, because these little sods will come and spawn you, and each one can lob 4 missiles at you, and you know they're hard to kill. Now, let's talk about its little kid, the modified version, the newer one, and that is the Sinner class. So these ships are better. They're newer. Their engines probably all still work, and they're all technically new. They are same vintage as the Sahand and that one. So they haven't been completely worn out yet compared to those three and that one and kind of that one. So they're not bad. But they are limited in number to how many they have, which off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken, is 5. Yeah, they got 5 of them. Compared to the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10 of the Common class. So it's not bad. They complement each other. Makes up for the numbers of these they lost at one stage. So yeah, so that's that. So that's the fast attack graph done. Let's talk about patrol boats. Everyone loves patrol boats. And I need to go on here because I haven't actually got those photos yet. Now, I think it's probably good to note these little fast attack craft of the Sinner class are all northern fleets of the Caspian Sea ships. Are they ships? They're technically boats. They are kind of bordering on that size, aren't they? Whereas these ones are primarily in the Persian Gulf. So these will definitely see NATO warships and, you know, other ships like that. Whereas these will probably just see Russian Caspian Sea fleet ships and maybe ships of the Caspian Sea area. Although, in theory, those probably could go for the inland waterways of Russia and head out, but that's a really stupid thing, and they probably would never do it. So, let's go talk about the smaller ones. So, oh Jesus, Jesus. Just get the photos for these, and I've just noticed they have missiles on them. Oh my god. So, oh my. So let's go for the Caven class. That's a really bad photo. Let's grab that one. So the Caven class. No, hang on. There we are. Look at that bad boy. Looks like a GRP vessel with, what? Is that saccades on the stern? Doesn't even say. Excellent. So, they got missiles. They've got a, 40mm Bofor? Like, these ships are so... they don't even have listed weaponry. That's how much people don't care about these things. Yeah, just considering the fact that they got missiles, they're small, and they've got a 40mm Bofor on the bow. I'm going to stick them in, C tier? Good little harbour defence vessel. So, yeah, that's what I'm going for. Now the Pavin class, which follows kind of the same idea. No, come on, give me the photo. these bad boys, they've got Royal Navy 20mm Orlikans on the bow. So the same things that are mounted on the front end of a River Batch 1 OPV, these things have got. So that's cool. They've also got missiles down aft, which is probably going to be 2 Charlie 802s. So, yeah. I'm going to put them there, just because they're cool little ships, but there's really hardly any information you can actually get on them. They're all Southern Fleet units. Yeah. They are, however, old. That's from the 56. That one is from 67. That's 85 tons. That's 105 tons. And both of them would operate in the Persian Gulf. They're not too bad little ships. Or boats. Whatever you designate them as. I would probably say they are PTGs, so Patrol Boat Guided Missile. So, yeah, let's go for that. Right. So that is the major war-fighting side of the Iranian Navy done. Now, it's time to go talk about the landing craft. So, we did some interesting things. So back in the day, we supplied the Iranians with a lot of equipment. So ships, all the L-Vans were from the UK. They were meant to have, I think it's Catamaran class frigates from the Netherlands, including the Netherlands yacht. They were meant to have Kidd class destroyers as well, before they had a bit of a revolution and changed the way they like to do things. So, yeah, bit awkward. So now they're in the place they are right now. Okay, landing ships. This is where the fun begins, as they say. That's the wrong photo. Come on. Yes, come on. I don't want to say it, but landing ships like that are very, very 1960-esque. Do they really work now? Probably not. But she looks like she's been built in Britain based off that bridge. Oh dear. Yes. She's an interesting class of ships. However, they don't get used that much. So, it's not really like they're going to go and invade anyone. So, I'm going to put her probably B tier / C tier, just because they're from she's 1974 design, so pretty on par with that actually. But yeah, so the first ship of the class, no one knows if she's still operational or not. The other three, we'll say operational. So yeah, but yeah, she's going B tier. Just because of the looks. But I shouldn't rate ships like on their looks, because in that case then bloody Alvan would be S tier. I love them. I love an Alvan. They're just so good looking ships. Back when we actually used to build good looking ships. Nowadays they all look like that. Right. Now, let's go talk about the Kabbalah class, which are landing ships, but they're for logistics. I don't know if there's any photos of these things. No, I don't think there is any photos of them, which is sad. Yeah. I don't know. Can't find any photos. Probably should have got some more. Probably should have gone through it and found some more photos earlier on, but yeah. There isn't any photos. Sorry. Unless it goes under that name. No, that's not it. Same. Never mind. So, sorry guys. Okay, let's move on to the next class of ship. Surprisingly, actually, considering what, they're from 1995. They're all in service, and they're all from the Southern Fleet. Who knows? Right. Let's go play with some landing craft, some LCACs. Bingo. Yes, the Iranians still use hovercraft, or LCACs. From what I remember, these are Saunders Row landing craft, and I somehow attached that to the Elvand. Now, considering we got rid of ours, I'm going to have to say B tier, possibly C tier. They're good for insertions of troops. They're quick because, you know, they're a hovercraft. They don't really have anything to put them in except for those, and one of them is non-operational, and I'm pretty sure these just operate out of Bandar Abbas, and that's about it. Yeah, they're going B tier. No, let's go C tier for those. And in that case then, their bigger brothers. Come on, give me the photo. These ones. These can carry more troops, but they're a bit of a bigger target. So in that case then, right, you can go over there. You can go there. You can go down by there. Just to make some room. All the hovercrafts are going in B tier. If anyone wants to challenge me on that, be my guest. Okay, right. Oh, my nose. Anytime I stream, my nose always goes really weird. Lovely. Also, just good thing to know. These landing craft were from the 1970s. I'm surprised they still work. Okay. Here we go. This one... yeah. Oh, I've not drank enough for this. So... what do I say about it? It's a converted oil tanker. I mean, on the one hand, it's very good. Because if she gets detected on a normal common navigational radar, she'll display as normal merchant contact in terms of she'll be the right size for an oil tanker, preferably a bit of a smaller one. Her downside is if you transmit on AIS as the, what's her name, the Macron, people are going to understand, know what it is, unless they keep her. Unless they do some spoofing and keep her as a, you know, different ship. I don't see the point in this ship. I mean, the Iranians must have an idea of the reason why they built this, or modified the thing. But I don't know what to say about her. apart from I hate the thing with a passion, and I shouldn't let my personal opinions get in the way of this, but I hate it. I seriously hate the thing. So, and just look at what he did, that bow of that thing. Like, oil tankers are not great looking ships, but what is that? What have you done to it? Like, Macron, where on the doll did they touch you? Oh, I have no words. I seriously have no words for this thing. Like, an expeditionary support base. Like, does she have RAS capabilities? Can she RAS ships underway? Who knows? What I can see from this image is she has two, 20mm Orlockan cannons? Maybe? But, yeah. I mean, at least on the British she's got a flight deck. She can't store any helicopters anywhere, but she has a flight deck. So, yes. And I think I know exactly where this thing's going. Can I have something more than D tier? Just the best thing I can describe the ship is, it is a whale. She's big, she's slow, she's ugly as sin, and yeah, she's going D tier. Sayonara, Macron. We are not dealing with that. Right. Okay. The Kangan class. Here we go. This is going to be fun. So these are tankers. And, yeah. They're all built in India. They're quoted as tanker ships. However, they're water tankers. And there we are. Look at that. Look at that. This is a great looking ship. She's also going D tier. If you don't like it, fight me. But no, in all seriousness, they're not great. They've got, two 50 cal machine guns, two ex-Soviet guns on board. They're single shaft. 2 of them are active out of the 4. Yeah, we'll leave them as that. Right, let's move on to the Bandarabas class. That rhymes. I like that. Bandarabas class. Yeah. Okay. So, these aren't too bad. They're small replenishment tankers, and yeah, they're just small replenishment tankers. Looking at it from these photos, they don't have a RAS rig as such. They can't do an underway RAS, but they can do what the Russians love to do, which is stationary across the bow, or stationary RAS with the ship either forward or aft. Bit weird. Actually, hang on. Is that a RAS rig down aft? I think that might be a RAS rig down aft. How weird. Yeah, no, that's not a RAS rig. That's fine. I think that was. So it's a bit of a weird place to put a RAS rig. You kind of want that down forward. But It's down aft. Yeah. As replenishment tankers go, should live down there somewhere. However, as I can't be too mean, it's going to have to go B tier. No, sorry, D tier. They're just a bit crap. If you want a proper navy and a proper force projection thing, you need a really good replenishment at sea tanker that can, I don't know, replenish at sea. Underway, has some ras rigs, have the ability to actually see what you're doing. You know, just the normal things, to be honest. So, yeah, she's going in D tier. She's also built in West Germany. Shows how old that thing is. 1974. So have you noticed how many of these ships / vessels, World War vessels, were built in the 70s? I mean, that's pretty new, 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 very new, pretty new. Ish. Old, 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 really old, very old, very old, very old, very old, 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 oldish, old. There's more olds than there is new. Okay. And it's just going to get worse. Welcome to the ships from the 1980s, boys and girls. Oh, these little things. Never seen one of these. But, hey ho. This is the Delvor class. They are a water carrier, an ammunition ship, a cargo ship, and a support ship. So essentially, they're small little cargo ships. Now, for the versatility, I'm going to have to put them in C tier. However, they are kind of, well, underarmed. That is true. At least they don't have a 1912 crane ship. But come on, Kimono is not a beautiful vessel. Those things, on the other hand, ugly. Very ugly. It's just, it has a block coefficient of 1. That's a nautical joke, by the way. If you understand block coefficients and hydrostatics, you'll get that joke pretty well. But yeah, it's ugly. But then again, form follows function. So, yeah, versatility-wise, they're quite good. That's as much as I'm saying about that. Oh, God, here we go. These little things. The, how do you say that? The Henjan class? So, kids, if you want to do some friendly fire while doing a missile test, these are your guys to go for. They are tenders, which aren't too bad. They kind of do pretty much everything. So they tow targets, they simulate fast attack craft if needs be for a quick draw exercise, but it's a big but. They are, well, they old? Not really. 1985 to 1993. And all of them are Southern Fleet units, so they all go to the Persian Gulf, with 2 of them actually being built in the Netherlands. Netherlands, why are you selling ships to, or why are you building ships for the Iranians? That is strange. And he did it back then. But hey ho, I'm not going to judge. Right. Okay. So So yeah, what do I put in D tier? For tender boats, they're not too bad. I'm gonna put them in C tier, just because they'll do. They're not great, they're not terrible, but they're a bit more useful than that. Right. Now, the last ship of the Iranian Navy. Oh, God. It's so ugly. It's so... Oh, God. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's so ugly. The carrier is part of the IRGC. Believe it or not. Oh, God. I don't want to... My instant thoughts are, please tell me that's not a metal minesweeper. However, it looks like a metal minesweeper. It's also a catamaran. Although, that being said, looks like a 4-day Blender build. Could probably smash that out in about 4 days on Blender. But, yeah. The Shannon class mine hunter. She operates in the Persian Gulf. She was commissioned in 2021. And it's already an overhaul. So, I don't know where to put this. Because like, there's only one of them, which makes it unique. She does look like she's from the 1980s. It's just got that very British bridge. It looks like the Triton bridge. So the Trials trimaran ship that the British built. It looks like the bridge off that, just a little bit smaller. Oh, my nose is really bad. Wow. Yeah. She's either slowing down or she's front heavy. I'm going to hazard a guess. She's front heavy. Because she's an indigenous Iranian design. They haven't built any more. No, that's actually being mean. I'm sure I can affirm that. Is that just because the photo, or because she's just ugly as sin and should be sunk? No, she's front heavy. She is front heavy, hence why she is going in D tier. Because I don't think she's a good MCM. And considering the fact that they haven't built any more, I'm going to guess she's not great. So, that is my opinion on the Iranian Navy as it stands. Now it's down to you. Would you move any of these into a different location? So, for example, am I completely wrong with the Kilo and she's actually really atrocious, she should be down in D tier? Or am I not giving the Alvans enough credit, which I'm giving them, I think, a bit too much credit. but in terms of operational units, they are probably some of the better ships in the Iranian Navy. So, is there anything you would change? Please let me know. That'd be great. And while you do that, I'm going to get up the IRGC. Actually, let's just make sure there isn't any more of those things being built. Yeah. Apparently there is 3 more of those to come along. There's multiple gutters to come along. They've got 2 more of those coming along, so great. The Kyrgyzstan and the Kurdistan. Great success. The IRIS Kalish Fars, which started in 2019. I think they scrapped it because okay. We have the Ream submarine up to probably 8 here. Okay. Anything else? Checking on the context of anything else, if we have anything else we can modify or do things with. They are building more of those. And the last Marriage class Jamran, basically, which is going to follow that design. That's the one that fell over. So yeah, any other modifications? Or we happy with that, and we can move on to the IRGC. Surprising, you can go for the entire Iranian Navy in 1 hour and 7 minutes. It's not that many ships in reality. Hello, Big Sarge. Good evening, welcome. So, yeah. Tell you what I'll do is I will sort out these images so it actually looks a bit nicer. Because at the moment it's a right cluster. She was on the thing, wasn't she? Yes, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Talk to anyone who's ever deployed into the Persian Gulf and they will tell you they hate them with a passion. They're like a surface-born terrorist group. But we're not talking about politics here. I'm going to put the combatantes actually in S tier as well. She's going to go higher. So put that one there. The Dalavan, or whatever else she's called, is going there. She's going to go a little higher. Feta, cheese will go here. Sahand. What are you going to do? What's she going to do? Sorry, that's not funny. It's upsetting when a ship sinks. Lovely. Okay. Let's do the one for the IRGC. Right. We'll just leave it as that. Anyone else can make more modifications if they want to, but I'm just going to get the IRGC up. I'm ready to go. List of equipment to the IRGC. Here we go. So you want aircraft carriers? Oh, we're going to give you aircraft carriers. This will be fun. There we are. Now all I need to do is look left and right so I can see the chat on both. Actually, let's just do that. Oh, my nose. It's like I'm randomly allergic to streaming. Could you imagine that? Being allergic to streaming. Okay, so let's start. That's a really bad photo. Is there any other better photos of this thing? It's even on Turbo Squid now. Brilliant. Right. No, it's every single time I ever go on stream, I always seem to be allergic to it. It's like my nose just like starts tingling as if I've got like some sort of allergic reaction to it. Anyway, yeah, let's go for that. Yeah, that photo will do. So, oh God, yeah. What can I say except you're welcome? It's such an ugly thing. Like, words can't describe how much I hate this thing. It is such a bad ship. Yeah, like, it's weird because it obviously gives the Iranians a aircraft carrier. However, the poor thing used to be a container ship. And as a merchant sailor, that makes me feel sad. As a naval historian, on the other hand, it makes me think, what did you do to container ship? Container ship, show me where on the doll they touched you. Just because I hate this thing with a passion. And I don't have something lower than D tier, I would put it in Satan tier. Going to the depths of hell, it's going below D tier. Because it needs to die. The most fiery, burning hell of a death. The bloody Shahin Bagari. What did she used to be? The poor old girl. What did you used to be? The Perarin. I mean, if she still looked like this, if she still looked like that, then S tier. Love it and S tier, but you know, they did it. They did that thing to the ship, so. I could not imagine. That would be so weird. Oh, Jesus. Right, okay. So, IRGC, here we come. Not these things. Why? Why did I do this to myself? Right, just put it in detail. Oh dear, what'll I do? Oops. I don't want to say it, but I kind of screw it up a bit. There, that's better. Boink. Now you can see the entire thing. So, we have these things. Do me a favour. Go away. So these are the Sahid Soleimani class. Obviously gonna butcher that completely. The as much as I hate it, I think it's actually quite a good design. And I think it would be in the A tier. Because she has a flight deck, she has missiles, she has what I can only describe as, is that a tank gun? Is that a tank gun? No, it's a 30mm, thank God for that. So it's got 30mm, it's got 20mm, it's got 6 anti-ship missiles, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got surface-to-air missiles as well. Iran. Do you want to give these to the Navy? They actually might be better than some of the operational warships you have. My days. Yeah. I can't believe it. They actually are genuinely decent ships. Why does the IRGC get better vessels than the Navy? Just including that. Just ignore that. That's dead to the world. Just leave it. Leave it in the bin. Right. Even has chaff dispensers. That's good. That's better than an Alvand. An Alvand doesn't have chaff dispensers. Like, what? Oh yeah, true. They do need to guard the carrier. Piece of crap the thing is. Right, there's 4 of those, so that's not too bad. Here's this thing. We're going for the cats. And it's a stealthy boy. And it looks cool. And it's got SAMs. And anti-shipping missiles. And a 30mm gun and 2 20mm guns. It's a cool design. And I think it's going A tier as well. So, kudos IRGC. Kudos. You're building 4. You got 1 built. Not too bad. Not too shabby. They're not bad. They're generally not bad. They're generally better than half the fleet. Okay, here we go. Here's what you think of when you think of the IRGC. Yep. Oh, yes. The Tondar class. Reminds me of a Russian Spanker class in some aspects. But, yeah. It's either GRP or it's wood. It's got a 30mm AK-630 down forward. He's got what I can only describe as a 1960s anti-aircraft gun slapped to the arse end, and 4 anti-shipping missiles with an owl screech radar on the top. Not too bad. Probably quite quick. Built in China, so quality might be a bit dodgy. However, how many have they got? 10. I'm going to say B tier. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a B tier. Now. Oh, this is going to be funny. Feast your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, on a domestically built IRGC patrol boat called the Sahid Ruhi. Yeah. Only one built. She's got cross-deck anti-ship missile launchers. Doesn't really state what fleet she's part of, but she's 205 tons, same as the Tondar class. Lightly armed in terms of gunnery, but primarily for the coastal defense of Iran. Not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't really put her up against a warship, because in theory that's not meant to be her job, but I'd say solid B tier. Flippin' nose. Okay. The IRGC has landing craft. Oh, they've got landing craft. Of course they do. LSTs and LSMs. Is there a photo of these things? No, there isn't. Please. No. No. That's disappointing. That is really disappointing. Okay, we're not getting the Hormuz 21 class landing ships. That's really annoying. 65 meters in length as well. So, however, we're getting the other ones, the Hormuz 24 class. What the hell is that? Oh god, I feel like I need to be drinking for this stuff. That's so ugly. It's... I really wish I was drinking vodka. Instead of squash. Hang on. She's underway. She's got cables coming out the forward end. Eh? So Iran has 3 of these. Apparently they can take 9 tanks. Why Why do you need 9 tanks on that cute little ship? It's an ugly little ship. And I don't know. Because there's a landing craft, I'm sticking it there. What is... Right. Just to clarify, what is the main goal of the IRGCN? Okay. So to quote, this might help understand the reason why they got landing craft, is, as I quote, from good old Wikipedia. Don't take it as a quote, as a proper source, but yeah. The IRGC has been designated as a terrorist organisation by the governments of Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and the USA. The IRGCN has steadily improved its capabilities to support unconventional warfare and defend Iran's shores, facilities, coastlines and islands of the Persian Gulf. So it makes sense they would use an LST to put tanks on an island to protect it. So, think outside the box. There we are. Still, it's bloody ugly and it should go down with a bloody drone carrier. There we are. Go to the level of shame. Maybe they're using it to compete with the worst ship ever of the Russian Navy. Lol. No. The worst ship of the Russian Navy is better than that thing. That's a crime against humanity. That is. Okay. Here we go. This is where the fun begins. We got the Nessa class. I quite like these little things. They are cute. And they're not too bad. And they are solid B/C. Yeah, Christ. B/C tier. They're good. They're good little ships. So, yeah. Now, here we go. We have a tugboat. Basically a merchant vessel. And that's going a solid B/C tier. Oh, I hate this next one. If I get it done quickly, get over and done with. That. The Shahid Nazari class. And it's going down here. I would rather look at the drone carrier than look at that thing. Won't lie to you. Ugly piece of work, that. And it's 800 tons. Give me those. Those are better. That's just like they kind of forgot to put half the ship together. Oh, well, it's even worse. Oh no. Oh, I forgot these things exist. Oh, and they're classified as warships as well. Well, they haven't taken out the Iranian fleet yet. Well, I think it's because they want to not do it. It's not like they want to completely annihilate the country. Primary target's the nuclear facilities. So that way they can keep all their nice toys. Just not cause Iran to go full on, we're going to murder everyone. Because if they do that, and they take out the entire fleet, then they're just going to lose it. The way they're doing it at the moment, they actually have the ability to stand down. Whereas if they take out the entire fleet, then they're just going to be a bit more enraged. However, when it does come to a war, I think the US have proved that if Iran does want to go play naval warfare, they are not going to win. And they're still rocking some of the same equipment they were back in 86. And obviously we have developed a lot more systems since then. So the Americans have got 2 carriers out there at the moment, and that was twice the amount they had back in 86 with Praying Mantis. So interpolate from that and you shall understand. Right. Okay. Here's another one of those ships that should die in a hole and never be seen again. It is a sea base. I hate these things with a passion. Reminds me of the Spanish one they had. And I just hate how asymmetrical it is, because they've got a big massive hole in the side of that gun hole there, and they've got a big massive hole there, and they've got speedboats on the upper deck. So you, old Shahid Raudaki, you can go down with the ugly swath vessel and the drone carrier. However, your little friend, the Jahed Madavi, you can actually go to approaching C tier. I know. Crazy. Let me just get a better photo of her and we can put her up. That's a really shocking quality image. Iran, are you taking photos of your ships on a potato? Like, seriously. Some of these photos are genuinely, like, potato quality. Sod it, that'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Right. That's big. So, you can go C tier. Because you haven't been defaced. And you actually look like a normal ship. There we are. Because you could quite easily be put back to a normal ship. And Bob's your uncle. Happy days. On the other side of this, that is the largest ship in the IRGC. So, oh, I know. What on earth is that to do with? It's like North Korea just taking random faces on ships. Like the, what's it called? I can't remember the name of her. The new frigate, destroyer, whatever the hell they called it. They had a big massive brass or gold bust of the geezer that the ship's named after. Basically where the hangar's meant to be. But, yeah. These things. Let's just stick the leader's face all over it and Bob's your uncle. Gives us divine powers. Or something, I don't know. Here we go. The little... what's the word? The motorboat Katusha. these things. Oh, these. Whenever you think of the IRGC, I personally think small boats, guns, rockets, missiles, speedboats, crazy people with Kalashnikovs. That is IRGC in a nutshell. Speedboat with let's stick as much crap on top of it as we can. And I give them credit. A tier. Oh, here we go. The Mark 13, which doesn't actually have a photo, but as a Pashy class speedboat. If I can find a better photo, is that it? No. There's a rib with a Katusha on the top. Okay, we haven't got the photo for that one, unfortunately. But we do have the pay cap. The bloody pay cap. In the world of pains in the ass at sea, these are these things. The pay cap can go B tier. Because it's just arseholes. They're waterborne arseholes. Now. Let's no. These things are A tier. The pay cap too. Because they can have missiles on the back. Oh yeah. Well, so the pay cap ones have torpedoes. The pay cap twos have missiles. Yes. Oh, I hate them. 52 knots as well. These little things are quick. Right. Next. The quote-unquote pay cap threes. Who's messaging me? It's a pay cap 3. That's a good photo of it. Also, A tier. Just for the absolute ridiculous thing that it is. Oh yeah. If you want swarm attacks, these boys are where it's at. Okay. Even worse. Even worse. 50 knots, 23mm gun, 50 cal machine gun, and one optional rocket launcher. Oh yes. Have a look at this bad boy. That I'm going to say is B tier just because it's slightly slower than a pay cap. So, yeah. Right. Okay, what's next on the agenda? So we're about halfway through the IRGC now. Ish. Give or take. So the Tur is the next lot of vessels. Oh, that just looks... Eh. Not a fan of these little sods. You can just tell, but just by that image, that these little things are just designed to make you have a bad day. And of course, they come with 21-inch torpedo tubes. So, hang on. Torpedoes, which means he's getting close. So, lower end of B tier. They're also operated by the Syrians. Right, next one is the Pash class. And of course, there is no photo. Why are there no photos, guys? Come on. Nope. Alright, guys, we're not going to the Pash class. Maybe because it's Pash. The Geen class. Here we go. Oh, God. Oh. We've gone from swarm attacks with ridiculously fast speedboats, with missiles, rocket launchers, torpedoes, to this. Is that an outboard motor on the back end of that? That is an outboard motor on the back end of that. Unless that's the outboard for the Zodiac. Oh, that's going C. Ah, dear. The Gaji class torpedo boat. Have we got a photo of this? Oh my days. We have a photo. We generally have a photo. Yeah, to be fair, it's still better than Minesweeper. Now, for starts, when I look at that, I think of the Sea Baby, the Ukrainian surface drone they used to sink the Sergei Katov and the Caesar Kunikov, that jazz. But then you look at the people on board it. It's huge. And, how fast did I go? 50 knots. That is 50 knots for that thing. Does it have a... What even is the range on this thing? Oh my god. It's also a submarine. Oh my days. Okay. That is pure Smacalca. That is going there. Because that is crazy. Yeah, there we are. That's half S tier. Just for the ingenious idea of it. That it's half submarine, it's a semi-submersible fast torpedo boat. Hang on. If that's the case, then. If that's the case, it's 50 knots. That can't be under the ocean, under the water. But it's got the snorkel up. I'm going to keep it there, just for now, because of the pure insanity of it. The next class, actually, got the, was it the Kajami? Same thing as that. So we don't need to do anything with that. The Talon class speedboat. Are there any photos of this? I'm going to say probably not. Is that it? No. There is no photo of that either. But that's also a 50 knot boat. And here we go. Are we ready, kids? The Boghammer. This is what people think about when they think of the IRGC. That little thing there. Little speedboat with whatever they can get their hands on sticking and just sticking it on it. It is A tier. It is the idea of the IRGC. And it's kind of cool. It's alright. It's not quite like, I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that's really A tier. S tier. Next. Yeah. This is another image of someone, whenever someone says IRGC, this is also another thing that people instantly go, that. The MiG G0800 comes with a cord or variant. A 106mm recoilless rifle, or a 12-barrel 107mm rocket launcher. Because, yeah, nothing strikes fear into someone if you just launch 12 rockets. It's going in B tier. Because screw that boat. And it's also, we somehow... Oh, it's a domestically built version of a British design. Oopsie. What? Okay, right. No, that's going higher. That is going higher. It does 90 knots. 90 knots. Jesus Christ. Let's move away from the 90 knot craziness for this thing. Which is the Morse class. Morse class. Yeah. I'm going to say that it is going to be C tier. Because it's not as cool. It's slow in comparison to half of these ships. 30 knots. I can't believe I'm saying 30 knots is slow. But actually, then again, it can mount some really cool stuff. So maybe B tier. Okay. The next one is called the Blade Runner. Sorry, that sounded cooler in my head. Yeah, the Blade Runner. Oh dear. That's where the Iranians go to the cool naming convention and go, what can we call our new boat? I know, let's call it the Blade Runner. However, the cool name is not going to save it because it's going to go C tier. Oh, actually, hang on. It can mount a rocket launcher, so B tier it is. Still a cool name. And 75 knots. It's not as fast as that boy. But, yeah. Oh, Jesus, here we now go. It's the ribs time. Oh, God. This is the point where you definitely need to start drinking vodka or rum or something stronger. So, you want your rigid inflatable boat. Do you want that to come with an MLRS? Like, what the actual hell? Oh dear, you crazy people. And it states speed is unknown. So, I think you are going to have to go there. So it's all well and good, but if I shoot the rib, you're going to sink. What's next? The Veliat, hang on, that's the exercise. The MIL 40. And it's not an IRGC vessel if it doesn't come with an MLRS. Actually, that's a recoil rifle, isn't it? No, doesn't state. We're running out of room. There's too many B tiers. Might need to move some stuff around. Pay cap 1. Put that there. Pay cap 2 can go there. Wait a minute, Bojington can go there. That can go there. Actually, put that there. B tier. Speedy Gonzalez can go there. B tier. B tier. Yeah. That can be a B tier vessel as well. Right, let's talk about the Cougar. The Cougar is another speedboat with I don't know, tell me about it. The Cougar is basically a speedboat with MLRS and a gun. Noticing a trend. Now, I have put the same type of vessels up here, but no, let's go in there. It's slow. But then again, it is called a Cougar, so maybe no. It's going B tier. Next, we've got the fishing vessel with we've got the fishing vessel with a ZU-23 TAC 2 on the front. Pure Smacalca. I love it. A tier. Safeguard A tier. What the... Oh my days. How? Okay, I can see how. Why? Oh, right. Right. You thought Smacalca was bad with the last vessel, and I'm still trying to grab my head around this ship, this boat. But I don't know if I can. Because it's just weird. It's a 16-ton boat. They could do 60 knots. That has 4 vertical launch silos. It's, yeah. Here we go. What? Why? How? Why? It's got VLS. Why has it got VLS on a 16-ton boat? It's impressive. I'll give you credit. It's bloody impressive. But why have you got a VLS on a boat that big? It's... yeah. The Zolothuga, an air defense boat. It's even got an ACER radar. It's got an ACER radar. It's... Jesus. This has gone from making a tier video, a tier list video of ships, to James reacts to what the fuck are they creating? And I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah. So the question is, where does this go? I really like it too. But it scares the hell out of me. And I swear, I think... that's S tier. That's S tier. That's going S tier too. There we are. What? What the actual hell? Is there any better photos of this boat? Oh my god, yes there is. Oh my days. So, you think that's a cool photo? You think that's interesting? I'm changing the font. Yeah. That's STS Macalca. And yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm saying about it. It's just, yeah. Right. Okay. That is pretty much it for the IRGC and the Iranian Navy. I can't really talk about anything else with them. So, yeah. Is there anything else we would change about this before I go to a quick question session and leave it as that and I go to bed? If anyone's got anything. Do we change anything up? Well, it's two of you, so great. Oh dear. I mean, I think it's pretty much all right with this. Let's move that down a bit. Move that to there. That to there. Yeah, I think that'll be that's my final list. Maybe move these little things down. Yeah. And then Borg hammer down there. Let's just move that over there. Move that over there. Move that over there. That way we can actually see what we have. I mean, I like the tugboat, but it's more that tier. That reminds me of one of those US Navy torpedo recovery ships that they operate. I came across once. Oh, I think it was Mayport. Yeah, think so. Right, okay. So, if the IRGC had 3 better drone carriers and 5 more catamarans, they would have a very dangerous navy, even for the US carrier group, if you use in the right hands. Yeah. So, in that case then, I'd say definitely. Well, depends on what drones they can put on the drone carrier. I mean, the Sahan drones that they currently operate at the moment seem to be doing pretty decent in the field. Don't know how good they'd be against warships. Actually, hang on. We have seen some Sahans going at ships. So, but those are merchant ships. So, against ancillary targets, good. Against an armored warship like an aircraft carrier, flight deck would be fine. You probably hold the carrier maybe on the waterline, cause a couple of flooded compartments, but that's probably about it. It would definitely screw up the bridge and that bridge structure if you can launch drones from it and just kamikaze them into the carrier. Or other places on board the ship. See, it's weird because if you can fly a drone, you can do some really big damage to a ship. If you can get a swarm of drones, then that'd be good. But would it sink a carrier? Is the question. I don't think it would. I think a carrier would survive. Yeah, I think a carrier would survive multiple drone strikes. But that's... Well, then again, since the start of the Ukraine, start of Operation Prosperity Guardian, the one in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, we have started to realise that drones are actually more of a threat. So, if the drones can get through, then yeah, I think they could do some real big damage. But I wouldn't say they'd sink it. So the question is how close to the carrier do they get? That'll be the question. So. That's good. So yeah, that's why I'd say. Has anyone got any? Ooh. Yeah. So the issue you'd have with, which is what the Iranians will go for, is because they're small boats. They are inherently hard to detect by certain radars. So that makes them really good at swarm attacks. So, if you had a GRP hulled vessel or a wooden hulled vessel, it's a lot harder to see. You also take into consideration the radar horizon of that radar. So, the standard radar horizon is about 9 miles, give or take. So, that's against a normal sized object like just trying to think, what's a normal size object? So performance roughly, you can get a fishing vessel at 6 miles. That being a fiberglassy one. Wooden hull, probably 4 miles. That's using common navigational radars, by the way. If you've got a high power radar, such as an India Julie S-band, which is your S-band, you are looking at roughly 9.28 nautical miles, rough range, on a surface target, that being fully metal object. So take that into consideration. If you're going near an island, standard is to stay 2 nautical miles away from an island. That being for a merchant vessel. Obviously, a warship will do a little bit more than that. Issue being, Strait of Hormuz is it's relatively narrow. Not as narrow as you think. But if you're going past like oil rigs or islands, yeah, they can do ambushes from an island. And if they've got a one-hulled vessel traveling us at a rate of knots, and you pass 4 nautical miles away from an island, and they pop out, you're either going to be using your radar to detect them, or you're going to be using your visual. And at that point, if they're cracking out with NORS and whatever's on the PayCap 2 or PayCap 3, that's well within shooting range. So you will have literally seconds to respond. As you have your Seawiz in automatic, but 9 times out of 10 you probably won't. But then again, going through the Strait of Hormuz, you will be in an action stations, so swings and roundabouts. So yeah, it's a good tactic, and swarm attacks do work. I mean, works on the principles if you throw enough stuff at the wall, some of it will stick. Same thing with these small boats. So yeah. And if you've got these really fast things, the gunners will have to put some proper aim off just to even hit a target. So that's to lead it quite far. Almost like an aircraft, surprisingly. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can really think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Anyone want to change any of the IRGC vessels? Or are we all happy with the IRGC? You can pause it if you want. But is everyone happy with the Iranian Navy? The actual Navy itself. She's staying like that. So hand will stay upside down. I think she can go a little bit further down. Let's keep it there. She's a bad minehunter. Hatred of Bangor is probably better. That's if she's operational. I don't know if she's operational. Yeah. But yeah, that's my takes on the Iranian Navy and the IRGC. If anyone's not got anything else to really say, so I'm going to say yes to both. I know people who have stated that they work together and separate. Take that as you will. But that's all I can say. I haven't seen it personally firsthand, because when I went past the Persian Gulf, I just sailed right past it. And, well, I didn't see it. Because man was in my cabin, isolating from COVID. So I couldn't tell you. But the people I know who've been to the Persian Gulf have stated that they do work together and also separately. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like that, but less war front. Like, we hate you, you hate us. We're just going to have an internal war against you whilst also fighting an external war. It's not really like that. It all really depends on the mission at hand. So, yeah. Any other quizzes? Okay. This microphone's actually really surprisingly good at actually picking up sounds. Okay then. Well, if that's the case then, and there's no one else has got really anything else to say, I mean, it has been like 30 seconds since I said anything, so wait till the latency. Yeah, I might just end it there. So, thank you very much for everyone who actually tuned in tonight. We hit 176 views. Woo! For an unplanned stream. So, yeah, not too bad at all. Honestly, it's an interesting little subject. Interesting little navy. Dare I say it, I could probably... I swear this is probably one of those navies you could actually probably make the entire navy. And you'd be fine. It wouldn't take you too long. Says me who spent 6 months building a OPV for the Russians in 3D. But that being said, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah, it's definitely an old navy. It's a pretty old navy. Concurrently, if I think about it, the average age of the fleet, I want to say, is 20 years old. I think. So that puts into perspective. Yeah. Yeah, and there's weapon systems on these ships that are actually older than HMS Bristol. As in the Bristol that's currently off to the scrapyard. So, it's crazy to think about that. They still got the Mark 0 mounts on the frigates. And Al Vandal's the first ship to actually even take the 4.5-inch naval gun in the Mark 8 Mod 0 mount. So, yeah. A little bit of tidbit of history for you boys and girls. So, right, yeah. So, let me finish off. So, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Would you like me to do another one of these at some stage? Maybe talk about the modern Russian Navy? Maybe. That does seem to be my forte. I do seem to be quite good at that subject. The Iranian subject is kind of my secondary, what's the word? Secondary speciality. So, yeah. I'm not completely 100% good at it, but I'm not too bad. But that's mainly because I've been doing a bloody Alvan for a year and a half and rebuilt one 3 times. But we don't talk about that. Bloody Alvan. Yeah. It will be a 4th time I'm building it, actually. Hey ho. Never mind, yeah. So, maybe at some stage I will sort out a Russian Navy video. Yeah. So, Okay, I'm going to stop wasting time. I'm going to go to bed because man's got college in the morning. So, yeah. So, take care, folks. Have a good evening and a good day wherever you are in the world. And, yeah, stay safe. And I'll catch you soon. How do I turn this off? There we go. Bye.